So it's taken a while for this video to come out, but January was a pretty fun month for music. So here's my top 5 albums that came out in January 2023. At number 5 is an album that if I don't already have a review out for it, I will soon. It's ALI, Alien Liberty International, with their debut album Music World. This album is all over the place sound-wise. Most of the songs here fit into some kind of acid jazz or funk mold, but throughout the album there's rap songs, straight up indie pop songs, J-rock songs, there's a mariachi song. There's a lot of variety and stuff to love here. ALI has been pretty popular in the weeb music scene through their big singles Lost in Paradise and Wildside, both of which are featured on this album, and there's definitely a reason why those songs became the hits that they are. They're fantastic. Wildside is some super tight rapping that bounces off the singing in the spy movie instrumental really well, and Lost in Paradise has an unmatched swagger unlike any other song I've ever heard. There's a lot of highlights in the deeper cuts on this album too. Mellow Cruise is a super funky song that's really catchy and has a great hook. El Mariachi has a really great feature from rapper MFS that works way better than any mariachi rap verse should ever work. There's some not very good stuff here on tracks like My Foolish Story and No Home No Country, but this album is pretty long and adventurous, so that stretch of tracks from the middle to the end is good enough to let you forget about it. I'm happy ALI is back, and this album is just a blast of happiness. I think we all need those from time to time. And number 4 is Rat Jesu with Prepared to Die. I seem to be one of the biggest fans of this album somehow, and I don't get why people don't like it. It's a very, very short record at 8 tracks in just 15 minutes, but it covers a lot of ground in that time. There's a lot of different stuff on it, between the alt metal of Rat Judah to the jungle heavy New Game Plus. This is a big stylistic departure from her last album, Emo Girl Ex Machina. That was a yachty rap album, while this is mostly various forms of rock music. There is one rap track here, that being Heaven Invert, which I thought was pretty fun. It sounds like a more amped up and heavier hitting version of Poison.jpg from that last album I mentioned earlier, and I really like it. Concrete is also a standout track for me, with the lyrics that hit about how your eyeliner looks like Sharpie, and a line from guest vocalist PK Shelboy of Fax Gang about wishing you could leave your body behind. And while I don't want this review to get very serious into my personal stuff, I have experience with both of those. I tried to put eyeliner on for this video and it looked like shit, so I had to wipe it off, and now I'm sad. Once I actually figure out how to wear that stuff, you're gonna see it in every video. And once I move out. And the already mentioned New Game Plus is also a highlight on the album, with the fast jungle drums matched with an overall emo pop feel. The chorus melody and vocals are both stellar, and they really help the song stand out. The video game synths also do a wonder to make it sound unique. This album is great. I love it. I'm disappointed more people aren't really into this one, because I think it's one of the best releases of the year so far. Number 3 is very underrated Japanese rock musician miraidempa Kichi with Sumida-ku Depression. I have been Miraidempa's strongest soldier for a while now. I love this dude. He has some fantastic albums that just aren't getting the attention they deserve. Ex-Friends is secretly the best record of 2014, and 2020's Persona, his last album, has some fantastic songs like Japanese and Bach. The album starts on a real high with that. Look, I don't know Japanese. I'm not super interested in learning it. I barely know hiragana. What I do know, though, is that this song goes hard. It pairs some super energetic verses with a great chorus melody, and the get away on the hook works amazingly. The third track is another super heavy highlight with some fast, almost rapped vocals in the verses that are backed up by some super pressing drums. The guitar work here is absolutely fantastic, and those super heavy drums transition into a trippy electronic break in the second verse that works so much better than it should. It's a pretty simple song, but it's super forceful and really cool. Tracks 9 and 10 are a standout stretch on this album. Track 9 features a long melodic chorus that sounds excellent and weirdly wouldn't sound out of place in a big hit song if you stripped back all the noise. And track 10, on the other hand, is a really weird song, featuring a random sample about bombing Japan. But the parts where his vocals kick in feature one of the best melodies he's ever done. Miraidempa is a super gifted melody writer, and tracks like this just prove it. I really hope this guy can get himself more attention. I genuinely believe he's one of the best kept secrets in Japanese music, and I've been loving his stuff for years now. Y'all need to go listen to him more. He's amazing at what he does. You like noise pop, alt rock, emo, check him out. At number 2, this is a sentence I didn't think I'd be saying. It's Let's Start Here by Lil Yachty. There's a lot that's already been said about this album, and I feel like I'm just gonna be saying what everybody else has already said, but this is one of the most insane album-to-album left turns of all time. Like, him going from his rap stuff to a full-on psychedelic rock album is insane, especially since his last single was Poland. Lil Yachty is having an insane renaissance right now, and I'm baffled. I've officially lost Vision as one of the best songs of the year so far. The opening bit is some awesome swirling psychedelia and vocals that sound lost, and I say that in the most complimentary way possible. The final verse is probably the best moment on the album, with Lil Yachty's yelling and making it feel like the climax of the whole thing. It's so much better than anything I would have ever expected from a Lil Yachty psych rock album. Should I Be is another highlight, as it sounds a lot like a chillwave song, which I love. The chorus and drums feel like they almost belong in a dance pop song, but the rest is some excellent psychedelia. The follow-up song The Alchemist is great too, with some more fantastic vocals from Lil Yachty and a super harsh drum beat that goes crazy over top of it. We Saw the Sun is a less intense song than the previous few, but it's just as good. Lil Yachty's vocals and melodies are absolutely fantastic here. The melting synths and bass that accompany it are great as well, and the ending bit just sounds heavenly. I know everyone else has already said this, but how in the world did Lil Yachty pull this off? Before I get to my number one, which you might already know if you watch the channel, I want to highlight some albums that didn't come out in January, but that I did listen to for the first time in January that are great and I want an excuse to talk about. Kuri Yamisaka's Kimi wo Omote Iru came out towards the end of 2022 and is a super overlooked shoegaze project. I'm a huge sucker for Japanese shoegaze, and this is one of the best things I've heard in the scene recently. Map by Group Eno is a super fun fusion of electropop and Japanese rap. I've been a fan of Blue from this album for a while, and I finally checked this whole album out after concluding that that's probably the best electropop song of all time. This album has some great stuff on it. The melody on Swan is fantastic, and I is a really unique and fun music video. And even by itself, it's just a super catchy song. It's definitely worth a listen. AFJB's self-titled from late in 2022 is a collab between rock band Age Factory and hyperpop rapper Juby, and it sounds absolutely insane. The title track is super hype, and Bad Morning has a fantastic melodic chorus if you ignore the iPhone alarm going off in the background the whole song. Real quick run through of some others. I finally got around to Symbols. Mr. No One Special is a super fun rock-oriented Shibuya-kei album. I also got around to more Ford Tracy Hyde. New Young City is stunning. Documentally by Sakanaction rocks. I might do a video on more of their stuff soon. 19 Fact by Sorane has Fight Me on it, which is one of the best pop rap tracks I've ever heard. Hoshizora Logic by Kishida Kyoden and the Akaboshi Rockets is a really good J-rock album. And finally, Nogochi Kutsukawa de Bakushi by Mau Mau Lulu Gyaban is a completely insane noise pop record that takes a lot of risks and somehow pays all of them off really well. Finally, best record of January 2023, After the Magic by Parannoul. This would have been my favorite album from the entirety of 2022, and it has a great chance to be my favorite album from the entirety of 2023. I've done a full review of this, so you can check that out, but I'm gonna also talk about it here too. Polaris is an unbelievable opener. My expectations were super high based off the singles and his last album, and yet this immediately blew them out of the water. The electronic drop on this track is a highlight of the whole album, and it catches you so off guard the first time you hear it. It's incredible, and I genuinely cannot say enough good things about this song. The two singles from this album, Insomnia and We Shine at Night, are both incredible and some of the best songs here. Insomnia's highlight is some anxious breakbeat production that keeps the song moving at a blistering pace and makes it a standout song in Parannoul's discography. We Shine at Night, on the other hand, pairs a super sweet and youthful first half with a heartbreaking second half that just hits you in the gut. This album just makes you feel things sometimes. It's so good. Arrival rules as well, with a 2-minute long escalator bit that feels like you're being whisked off to another world, as it just gets more and more intense as you go. The final bit after it reaches its peak is fantastic too, and my only complaint is that there isn't more of it, and it isn't longer. And those are just the first 4 songs on the album. I didn't even talk about the second half. You can go watch my review for that. So yeah, top 5 albums of January 2023, and a bunch of other stuff that I also think is cool, and I just want an excuse to talk about somewhere. Like, sub, if you have any channel feedback, comment that, and if you have any albums you think I should check out, comment those as well. There's a good chance I'll listen to your feedback, and there's a good chance I'll listen to the albums too. I'm always looking for stuff to improve and new stuff to listen to. See ya!